From Ephesians, I implore you to live a life worthy of the calling you have received. And again from John, this is the work of God, that you believe in him, that is, believe in God, and that you trust him whom God has sent. In the name of God, amen. Now, David was the greatest of Israel's kings. The one king that came before David, and every king that came after David was measured against his kingship. Near the end of his long life, the Chronicle wrote this of David. David did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, and did not turn aside from anything that he commanded him all the days of his life, except in the matter of Uriah the Hittite. Unquote. Yes, indeed, except for that little matter of his dealings with Uriah, who was one of David's loyal soldiers, who was a foreigner fighting for him. Here is the heart of the matter. Within this matter of Uriah the Hittite, the tale began with last Sunday's readings. David was walking on his roof, enjoying the cool of the evening. He saw Bathsheba bathing. By the way, she was ritually bathing to purify herself after the period. He coveted her. He sent his men to bring her to him. He lay with her. He sent her back home. And in good time she informed him that she was pregnant. And yes, lest we get too stuck in this medieval idea that Bathsheba was some kind of seducer, some kind of seductress, we have plenty of sources that refer to this whole episode as the rape of Bathsheba. And if your feelings in this episode are not recorded, if you read on, you will find other women's feelings suffering the same fate, detailed with heartbreaking vividness. So, back to David. How many commandments can you violate in one episode? And we aren't finished yet. Parliamentary monarchies, of course, are many centuries away. And King David's power, he was a despot. He could do pretty much what he wanted. And if he wanted to violate Bathsheba, carry her off, and didn't care who thought it, it's hard to see if anybody could have said anything to David or done anything to him about it. But he wanted to do this thing to another man's wife, and he wanted to preserve his good name. A good name that he really valued, okay? You bet. What had God said about David? When God placed David on the throne, he had said, I am placing in David a man after my own heart. He will do everything the way I want it done. Bathsheba informed him that she was pregnant, and David, I guess, was struck with that same fear that other men have had once it's found that you have impregnated someone else's wife. David had regard for his own high standards. He didn't want people to know the evil he was doing. Thus conscience doth make cowards of us all. Coward? Oh, yes. It's not our yet. To hide the pregnancy, David ordered his general Joab to place Uriah in front of the battle line so that he would die. David ordered the general to send him word once this man was dead, which he did. And what was David's message then back to his general? Oh, well, do not take this to heart. The battle kills some men one day, other men another day. He sent this very reassuring word to the very general he had given the orders to. I realize people get irrational, but really, who in the name of heaven, who on earth did David think he was deceiving? Tickling himself, gazing down his rooftops on the woman, coveting her to the point of lust, lusting to the point of carrying her off, coming at her sexually, impregnating her, having her husband killed. And if all that weren't foul enough, return to God for all of God's great gifts to him. David then decides to hide the evidence by bringing Bathsheba into his palace so he can marry her and install her there. Now back to this morning. Today we heard that what David had done greatly displeased God. We heard the king's prophet, Nathan, this is the voice of God, telling the parable, if you will, of the pet lamb. The children loved this little lamb. They raised it from whatever baby lambs are. They raised it up. The farmer loved her. They fed her from their own dishes. They slept with her in their beds. It was like a daughter to him. And then his neighbor takes the little lamb and feeds it to his visitor. He doesn't want to take a lamb out of his own flocks and herds. He'd rather do this. Nathan tells it well, right? David gets very worked up hearing the story about this man that was... He said, this man who has done this deserves to die, get this, because he had no compassion. Nathan turns and points the finger of God right at him. You are the man. How could you? How could you have done this? I gave you all these riches. I gave all your enemies into your hand. How could you? And don't you see, now that you've done this, the sword is never going to depart from your household. It came, if you read on, you will see it came to pass. David's sons and daughters began killing each other, raping each other, raising up rebellion against him. In the book of Ecclesiastes, it is written, the day will come when God will bring every deed into judgment, including every hidden thing, whether it is good or evil. Our first parents, back in the Garden of Eden, they understood. They were confronted with what they had done. They acknowledged it with difficulty. They understood its consequences. When Cain murdered Abel, he was confronted with his sin. He acknowledged it with difficulty. He accepted its consequences. Blessed are the poor in spirit, or as the New English Bible has it, how blessed are those who know their need of God. Now, from his childhood, we have stories of David happily acknowledging his dependence on God. Remember the bit with Goliath of Gath? You come against me with sword and spear. You're over 6 feet tall. I have my 5 little stones and God on my side. And so it was. But when he looked upon Bathsheba in her bath, he seemed to have forgotten his need of God. Well, when do we begin to feel the warm breath of mortality blowing down the back of our neck? Midlife crisis? David was no youngster at this point. Do these awful midlife indulgences signal a loss of faith? A little psycho, a developing attraction to a forbidden thing, maybe a sporty car that we don't need and can't really afford, a work colleague or a voice on the phone that seems to promise fast investment riches, a younger woman who seems interested in me. I am past my prime. I know that time is marching on. In fact, time is getting away from me. And maybe it's not true after all. Maybe there is no life after we die. Maybe we only go around this time. And what if this is the only life I look at and it's moving on and unfolding toward its end? I should do this now, just in case. So what is the moral of the whole story? I propose a moral, and it is stay awake. Yes, don't drift off now. Stay awake, be mindful, stay close to each other, stay in the Word, stay close to the God who is creating you and recreating you every day. By the way, where did we get this very unscriptural idea that if you're not perfect, you're a failure as a human being, and that you might as well let it all go? Our first parents in the garden, let's get back to them. Did God tell them, or did God tell Cain, the first murderer, because of what you have done, I am finished with you? No, there is no such language there. God told them, I forgive you. But the world you were making, you have now changed it. Now get back to the world. Your task will be different. What you have done for evil has changed your whole life afterward. You have lost much, but I will be with you. Go now and get on with your new tasks. Psalm 19 says, cleanse me from my secret faults. Let no evil thing gain control of me. Our beautiful prayer book collects remind us all the time we cannot continue in safety without God's help. So let God's continuing presence lead us and also prod us from behind. David knew this. He got it up here. He knew this perfectly well, but he got cocky. King David needed, really, as ancient kings did. He needed one of these servants walking around behind him. Maybe when he was walking around on his roof, he needed one of these servants that walks next to the king and says, and whispers, remember, you are only a mortal. We understand that David wrote this Psalm 51 this morning, this most beautiful psalm. And it probably says this in your Bible where you read this psalm. It probably says that David wrote this in connection with the Bathsheba episode. I like to imagine this very distraught king groaning it out as he's fasting and he's out sleeping on the floor, praying for the life of the infant, of this Mesayons. The infant lived 7 days. But during those 7 days, there was David pleading with God, have mercy on me, O God, wash me, purge me, and I know what I do. I know the sacrifice you desire, O God, my broken spirit, a broken and a contrite heart, O God, you will not despise. You will not despise it. Create in me a clean heart, God. Renew a right spirit within me. If you're in trouble and you want to turn back, renewal is always there for you. It's always offered. Here is Linda's lovely short letter to us this week. All who remember and trust Him find themselves living in the life that never ends. Whatever you're doing, you are living in the life that never ends. The life that is renewing itself day by day, the true life that is renewing itself day by day, the true life of all whose mercies are new every single morning. So we may pray, Lord, deliver us from getting too cocky. I know we have too much wisdom, but we're too wise to rely on our material comfort as evidence that God loves us, right? I know we don't rely on our homes, our cars, our stock portfolios, our freedom from unceasing daily fears, our fleeting safety from forest fires. We don't need these things to know that God holds us close. I hope. True, we will be given pockets of peace as the world understands it, but no one should get in the mindset of imagining things are always going to be peaceful. No doubt it's a blessing to be reminded from time to time just how fleeting our riches really are. Again, so keep this morning's watchwords. Keep this morning's watchwords. Oh God, you have taught us to love you by loving each other and serving each other. You have taught us that this is the work of God, to live the life of Christ into which you have been called, and that you trust Him whom God has sent. Amen.